morning to you, Mark. Now, we are very excited being here in Davos for the annual trek where the financial elite of the world are here. But amongst us, we also have a few billionaires. And who better to talk about this than the guy that heads up our billionaires coverage? He is Matthew Miller from the Billionaire team. Now, Matthew, it's interesting. If we look at billionaires, they're almost a barometer of what their economies are doing. Now, talk to me about the billionaires in Davos. 80 billionaires. A lot of them are American, but we also have a lot of them from the BRIC countries.
That's right. You have 18 from the U.S., you have 17 from India, and you have 9 from Russia. So it's really, in the U.S., it's financiers. It's people like George Soros and Ray Dalio who come to not only give their own opinions of what's going on in the financial community, but also to get insight from political leaders. You have Indians who, most of which say they like to gather in the snow. It's a different climate here, and it's an opportunity for them to get together and to discuss what's going on in their economy and get a good working holiday of what's going on in the world. And then the Russians are here. A lot of them, these are commodities billionaires for the most part, metals, oil, etc. They're here a lot to promote their philanthropies as well as to do business.
Yeah, Matt, I'm really fascinated when you look at billionaires and how they make their money. They also give us a sense of where the economy is strong and where it's doing well. Are we seeing more Russian billionaires this year than in previous years?
I think it's actually status quo for the most part for Russians. Russia really goes with commodities prices because most of the billionaires are in metals, in aluminum, in nickel, in oil, and commodities. And so if you look at commodities prices, you can essentially gauge how many Russian billionaires there are going to be. In 2007, you had an astronomical sum of Russian billionaires. Now it's probably about half that.
You have some quite eccentric figures in Davos, and you have one eccentric billionaire, very eccentric because he doesn't actually have a home.
That's right, the homeless billionaire, Nicholas Berggruen. He's here. He's actually the lead of our big billionaire story today. And he kind of called Davos speed dating for the wealthy in that it's very difficult to get more than 5 minutes with any one particular person because everybody's on their BlackBerry setting up and arranging other meetings. But those 5 minutes tend to be very high-quality meetings, and so he said he actually gets a lot out of it.
Now, I know you track these guys every day. I know we're also launching the Bloomberg Billionaires on the website where you can actually track these billionaires almost day to day and see how their fortunes are performing. What are they most worried about in this kind of new normal world where actually there's no growth and there may not be any growth or job employment or job creation for 4 or 5 years?
And I think what they're focused on this week is Europe. Last year when we talked to the billionaires who were coming here, they wanted to talk about income inequality. Well, now it's a much more serious tone than it was a year ago. They're looking at Europe. They're looking for specific bits of information from Monty and from Lagarde today, and they're looking at Europe because they see that as sort of the barometer of where the rest of the world will go this year.
Currency wars, is it something that's on their mind? I know a couple of years ago there was almost, a lot of the BRIC countries were up in arms and saying, we come to Davos and we talk about Europe and we talk about the US. What you don't talk is about my countries that are getting more and more prominence in the world economy.
Well, we haven't actually heard that. They have not brought up currency wars when we specifically ask about what are they thinking about. They think about much more macro issues. How fast are emerging markets going to grow versus the developed world and that sort of stuff.
All right, Matt, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know we'll have you here all day. I'm looking forward to it. Matt Miller there from the Billionaires team.